And welcome to the podcast, guys, with Rob and Nando. Today, we have a lovely guest on the show. And before we have her introduce herself, make sure you guys follow us on YouTube, the podcast, guys. Subscribe to the channel, guys. It is free. We've been going at this for almost 2 years now. Subscribe to the channel. Support us. We have an amazing guest who's going to, again, introduce herself in a second. Make sure you also follow us on Instagram and TikTok, the podcast guys _ and also on Rumble, the podcast guys _ We are on X, the podcast guys 5, and you can also find us on Spotify. We recently went on there, so check us out, guys. And now we'll turn it to our lovely guest. Welcome. Why don't you go ahead and tell us your name, introduce yourself.
Hola, mis amores. My name is Sasha Prendes. I am a Latin pop singer and a TikTok live streamer.
Love it. Love it. Why don't you also go ahead and let us know your age, nationality, occupation. Well, I know you said you're a singer a second ago. And highest level of education, and if you're single or in a relationship.
I love this. Okay, y'all. My name is Sasha Prendes. I'm a singer. And I got my live stream on here. So TikTok is getting an exclusive behind the scenes of a live podcast episode. So just shout out to my TikTok family. I love you guys so much. I grew up in Kansas. I went to the University of Kansas. I have a communications degree. I'm Cuban. Yo soy cubana. Mi familia de Cuba. Yo nací aquí en New Jersey. And I've been back in the East Coast for the last almost 10 years now. So I'm almost like officially a New Yorker.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Love to hear it. That's great. And you're a singer. Tell us a little bit more about that. Tell the people a little bit more about that. I'm sure you also have some folks that watching right now. So get into it a little bit and tell us a little bit more of what you sing, where you sing.
Oh, for sure. And you asked if I was single. Yes, I am single.
Yes. Almost forgot that one. Perfect.
Yes, I'm single. And you guys, I write songs about love and life and my experience. It's my way of expressing myself. It's my way of getting the last word, is how I like to put it. You know, taking pictures, putting them in songs, these like little mental memories that we keep with us. And I love creating. I love making videos. I have my videographer, my assistant, my best friend, Jenna, who I absolutely love and adore. She's here with us on set. And we do everything together, quite literally. And I'm so blessed to have such a great team of people around me. My producers, Fabian Hernandez, James Oliver, and just so many great people who I've met since I've been back in New York.
Awesome. Awesome. Love to hear it. Shout out to your team. Shout out to Jenna in the back. And why don't you go ahead and maybe you want to sing a couple lines for us, for the people, or should we wait till later?
I say we wait a little bit. Wait a little bit because I'm just going to burst into song.
Perfect.
Like, that's just naturally what happens.
Do you have any artists that you grew up listening to that like influenced you to sing? Like, who did you look up to growing up?
You know, I know this, everyone says this, but Taylor Swift. I mean, she was like 14 with a guitar and was like pouring her heart out. And I just remember being like 11 and was like, yes, that's me. You know, like I did that. Like she was so brave to come out and do that. And I just kind of like grew up with her. And then, you know, before her, I really loved Sarah Bareilles, Jason Mraz. That was like the person who inspired me to learn how to play guitar. So I dabbled with, you know, the acoustic guitar when I was 16, and my first guitar book was a Jason Mraz book. So nice. I really liked acoustic music. And then, of course, we grew up listening to salsa music, all sorts of Latin music, everything that was on the radio in the 90s and 2000s. And then my dad got really into country music, and we were in Kansas. So we were like, we're from Jersey originally. So they were like, country music, and then my dad's like, no, I really like Toby Keith. And I fucking love Toby Keith. That guy, oh my gosh, his story is pretty amazing. And we can get into, some people who had such crazy journeys as to like how they made it to stardom. And everyone's definition of made it is different.
Yeah, right.
And when you hear the journey, because everyone's journey is different, there's so many little things that other artists experienced and shared with the world that inspired me and like helped me, continue to follow my dreams and never give up. So
love it.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool to grow up listening to all different types of music, even like music that your parents play, because it kind of shapes you. And like, it's good to listen to even different type of genres that you don't necessarily like. I'm into making music myself, so I know how it is. Is there a specific genre that you sing, or you kind of do multiple different genres?
So I actually dabble in a little bit of different different genres, different styles. But I mean, pop music, right? And what is pop music? Pop music is popular. And what's popular? Dance, hip hop, R&B, you know, then there's like bubblegum pop. You got like really cool, like, I think of Sabrina Carpenter right now, like the direction
she's huge now.
She's big now, yeah.
But it's fun pop.
It is.
And then even some of her sad songs are still bopping too. You're like, oh, this is sad, but I can't stop dancing. So
I listen to Espresso every day, at least once at work. So.
I mix it up, and I like that you do as well because, you know, living in Kansas and, you know, you're in the city now, you're from Cuba, so you have a mixture of all these different backgrounds and just types of music that you listen to, which is fantastic.
I think you have to, you know?
Yeah.
I spent time in Europe too. I lived in London for a little while, did study abroad, and I love London. That's like my favorite playground. It's my favorite place to go and dance all night and party and have fun. And just the music there is different. The music there is just, it's always amazing. Every club you go to, it's just high energy. It's a vibe. And I also really like hip hop. So a lot of times when I leave the UK or I leave Europe, I'm like, okay, let me pop on some Tory Lanez, you know, because like they just really don't. It's just not as big over there.
Yeah, and
it
they
doesn't
have
resonate the same.
UK has their own. It's becoming pretty popular in the US. They have their own style of rapping. You know, it's completely different.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't even know
different
that. That's
sound.
cool. Yeah, that's what's great. Definitely suggest folks travel the world because that's how you get to know different types of things, including music in this case. So phenomenal, awesome. So likely we'll answer some Q&A at the end on TikTok, and we might go live on YouTube, guys. So that's why it's always crucial for you guys to always be following our socials to make sure you check us out and know where we are and when we're doing what we're doing. But why don't you also tell the people where they can find you real quick?
Oh, yeah. You guys can find me everywhere, quite literally. My name is Sasha Prendes with an S. It sounds like a Z. But in Spanish, it's Sasha Prendes.
Prendes,
you know what I mean? Like to turn on.
We give it an accent.
Sasha Prendes. But then my American accent, I'm like, I'm Sasha Prendes. You know, so everyone thinks it has a Z. But you guys can find me Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok. I've really, really been going hard on TikTok. Shout out to my TikTok fam. I love TikTok, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm so happy it's not banned.
Yeah,
I'm happy it's back
I'm
too.
so happy it's back, you know.
I already downloaded Red Note because I thought that was it for TikTok.
Oh, you're a rebel.
We're rebels. We thought it was dumb, but we're happy that TikTok's around. We're on TikTok, as you guys know, so we're awesome. Glad to hear and welcome.
Thank you.
Rob, why don't you go ahead and start with the first question for Sasha?
Yeah, so this is our first official episode of 2025. So welcome again, Sasha. Thank you for being here today. Like usual, I want to open it up with a general question to get the conversation started. So we're in a new year. What do you think are some things that men should be prepared to bring to the table in dating in 2025? Like, and we're not talking like, you know, young guys 18 through 23, adult men. What should men bring to the table in relationships?
I think now that I'm in my 30s, you know, asking me that 5-10 years ago, the answer would have been similar but different. You know, I think men just got to be their true authentic self. Don't be afraid to lead, you know, don't be afraid to take charge, but do it in a way that's respectful, right? Like, I'm an independent woman. I've been running my own business for a long time, making my own music, you know, hustling. I'm scrappy. I'm a fighter. I'm out here surviving in this big city. You know, like, I'm sometimes in that warrior spirit, that energy, right? I carry that. And I think that men sometimes can be a little intimidated by that, or
I was just going to ask,
or like, oh, you know, like she's a little girl boss. She's a little much for me. But I think if everyone can just kind of like take a step back and look at society and look at the dating space and look at the way people are right now, everyone is just fighting and working multiple jobs and fighting for a dream. It's like, yeah, like, and women are expensive. Like, you know how much it costs to get my nails done, to get my hair done, to do my makeup, how long it took me to get ready today. Yeah. You know, there's like, we just live different lives. So I think patience, and don't be afraid to lead, you know, and I think emotional intelligence is really important too. And we can dive deeper into that. But, you know, guys, just be yourself. You don't have to change. That's the one thing. People are not projects. You meet someone and I don't want to have to change you. That's been what I've been looking for. If I meet a man, I'm like, do I want to change anything about him? If yes, then he's not the one.
Yeah, it's a great answer, honestly, and I agree with you. I think men have to make sure that they have their stuff together before they go on date, right? Especially, we're talking about we're in our 30s as well. You can't have your life all messed up and go out nowadays and expect to date, because no woman's going to go for that. So great answer.
Are you manifesting the right person in your life at the moment, or what are you doing to go about it? Are you kind of letting it be right now, doing your thing?
So I kind of took a little bit of a step back from dating this past year, 2024. I really honed in on my spirituality, on, Christianity and prayer and whatnot. And, I've lived a really amazing life. And as an attractive female in New York City, people are going to ask you out. People are going to take you on dates. People want this, people want that. And I think for me, I just needed to get out of that space for a second and focus on myself and be like, okay, Sasha, what is it that you really want? What are you really ready for? And I just remember last summer being like, after going on a date with someone that was wonderful, lovely guy, wasn't for me, I was like, okay, I think I'm ready for a serious relationship. I was like, that was fun. And then it was just being like, am I ready to be a partner? You know what I mean? Like, am I, what do I bring to the table? And I kind of hate that phrase, like, what do women bring to the table? But I would say that, like, for me, I needed to learn what men want. And I have a couple of, male role models in society that I like to look up to. And I take some of their advice. I'll share that in a little bit. But I definitely have been manifesting my person, and on like my 2024 and 2025 goal list, the first thing is meet my top G.
Okay, cool. Nice.
So are you looking for an Andrew Tate kind of guy? Because Andrew Tate's the top G.
He is the top G, isn't he?
He is the top G.
He's the top G. I love him. I don't think I could ever date him. He's so intense. Like, it's so hot. He's so intense. But, I do want like a monogamous relationship, like just one partner. I know he has a few girls, and more power to him. I don't judge anyone. I think he's the top G. Like, yeah. It is what it is. But there's so many things about him that I was like, oh, wow, like that really resonated with me. And just like the essence of masculinity, like my father is a super masculine man. My dad literally is a bow hunter and got 2 deer with 1 arrow.
Wow.
A couple days ago.
It's pretty badass.
Like, he's super badass.
Yeah.
Like, I wish we got it on camera. I was like, Dad, you're a G. And he's like, I'm a top G. I put him on. I put him on Rumble. He's watching, he's watching. But what Andrew said was so true. And I was able to reflect on my own failed relationships. And I was like, what happened here? There were moments where, like, I made more money than my boyfriend. That sucked. That sucked, or like I was a few years older than him. That also sucked. It's like he wanted to be more ready, but emotionally, like, I couldn't press fast forward. So I think timing is super important. I just feel like I watch some of these male influencers, and I agree with a lot of what they say. I disagree with a lot of what they say. And I think that's the parts that you disagree with are the parts that make you different and will help you find that right person that suits you, if that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah, we tend to also do some challenges with our guests, and when we film episodes on our own as well, and we challenge. We're kind of rebels when it comes to challenging the ladies sometimes, but we do it in a good way. I mean, here,
love it. Let's do it.
Yeah, here on the podcast, guys, we just want to really bridge the gap between men and women, and for them to each have an understanding of one another. You know, what men expect of women, and vice versa, what also women expect from men as well.
Agreed.
Yeah. And how about dating and balancing your career, singing? What is that like? Is that difficult for you? What's your take on that?
So I've been doing this for so long. It's just my life. I go live now every night. This is the TikTok live stream is a new thing. So, the last few dates I've been on, I was like, hey, I have to be home by 10 o'clock. So if you want to go to dinner, it has to be a little earlier. And what do you got going on? I got my live stream. It's like, that's the commitment that I've made. And then sometimes it's like, it doesn't hinder me from doing things, doesn't hinder me necessarily from going out, but it's like, that's my commitment, right? So I think just like not always being readily available, for certain things. Like, this is a new venture that I'm on and it's a massive commitment. And there are times where I'm like, yeah, I'd love to go out or I'd love to do this, but I can't, like I got my focus and I'm done at like midnight.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's different. I haven't been in a serious relationship in like 3 years ish. And I loved when my boyfriend would come to my shows. Yeah. I loved when my man would come with me to set, especially if I was doing a commercial or something and, you're showing up to like an abandoned building, in New York City on the west side in a warehouse and you're going up the elevator. Like, no girl should really be doing that by herself, know? And so
it's good to have a man with you, somebody supporting you there, looking forward to seeing you out.
Somebody who's going to be there to protect you in case something goes down. You never know.
Yeah, you really don't know, right? Yeah. This is the music industry. This is the acting industry. Yeah. This is New York. You need to be safe. Every city, every place you go. And, I've taken a lot of risk and, showing up to photo shoots and stuff with people you meet online. And it's just, I've always found comfort when I have a supportive man by my side who loves what I do, brings me roses to the show, like can get along with my dad. I don't know. I've always loved that aspect of it. Where it's been difficult is when you date people who are not fully secure in themselves.
Okay.
That has been also a disaster.
What does that look like?
That looks like a male having a meltdown going, I'm taking a back seat to your rock star life. And I was like, you've never even seen me sing on stage. Like, my shit is just getting started. Like, we ain't even cracked the surface. Where is this coming from? And then right in that moment, I was like, you're not the one for me. You can't handle the attention that I receive. You can't handle the people in the DMs, like, you have to trust me.
I get you.
We got to be locked in. We got to be solid. I have nothing to hide. I'm not into the whole like going through each other's phone things. Like, I think that's really whack, but I got nothing to hide. Right. So it's a double-edged sword. It can be so great and you can feel loved and heard and supported. And, my man knows all the words to all my songs. And that's the person the second I'm done with the show, I'm so hyped that all I want to do is go home and smoke and, hang out with him and some friends and, kind of come down off of that. And that's like my favorite part is like that post-show chill time is my absolute favorite. And, and then there's the dark side, which is they just can't handle the amount of attention that I receive.
Well, I'm sure it's special when that man is your number one fan and not the dark side of things, right?
Yeah. It's so nice.
Yeah. And also, as far as the qualities in a guy, because we can kind of see the qualities of the good side of a guy and the bad side of a guy. What qualities do you want from a man?
I want a man that's like cool, calm, and collected, because I'm cool, calm, and collected right now, but I get lit. I'm loud, I'm spicy, I'm fun, I'm emotional, I cry, like I got a lot going on. And I think emotions are what make us female. Emotions are awesome. Emotions are, indicators of different things. They allow us to write music and create out of it, right? If we were just happy all the time, like would we even be here right now? Right. So much good comes out of the pain that we experience. And qualities in a man. I'd say, cool, calm, and collected, problem solver. Yeah. Please.
Do you have a type? Everybody has a type.
I don't have a type.
Really? Okay.
I ain't got no type.
No kidding.
Bad bitches is the only thing that I like.
So anybody has a chance?
Well, not anybody. But how you look. Okay, I'd say... Okay.
Like some women want a beard or a guy with tattoos or maybe a certain nationality. Like everybody has a type.
Okay, so that's all hot. Like all like that's all hot, right? I guess my type is not from the States.
Okay.
I always liked people who were from a different country. I think because my family's from Cuba and I bring an element of spice and culture to the relationship. You come home, we speak Spanish at home. It's like it's just a different type of community. And I'm also super American. Like, we're American as fuck. We love America. You know, we've fully assimilated and we love it here, and we're so proud, right? And you take the good parts from Cuba, you leave the bad parts, right? You take the good parts of being an American, you leave the bad parts, and you have this like beautiful, you know, blended culture. And then I'm like, well, you can't just be from my hometown. You know, I'm like, I like variety. I like accents. Like, I definitely, and I hate the term, I get bored easily. I don't think that's true. I really don't think I get bored easily, but I like some variety, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely more exciting to talk to somebody with an accent from a different culture. And, you know, it's different, right? When you're around them, just having a conversation, you know, they're from a different world. So, yeah, I get you.
Were you born in Cuba and then came here? Were you born
I was born in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. Not too far from us.
Where are y'all from?
I'm Dominican, but I was born in Jersey as well.
Where in Jersey?
I was born in...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm originally from New Jersey, Bergen County, New Jersey, but I've lived in North Jersey my whole life.
Okay.
It's like I have a love. I think everybody that lives in New Jersey has like a love-hate relationship with it. We complain, but we stay here for some reason. So yeah.
I love New Jersey, guys. I grew up in Kansas. I lived 20 years just about in Kansas. We moved there when I was 5, and I had a beautiful childhood, a great upbringing. But I will say, like, it was slim pickings when it came to dating, and like I was considered exotic, which is cool. I don't mind that. Like, oh, that's cool. But like, I was not being fulfilled and stimulated by the population of men in that area. And like, some people, you know, found their soulmates, and that's the vibe. But I just always felt like, even if it's long distance, I've been doing long distance since I was like 17. Like, I've always like would meet people on vacation or on trips and would have like a boyfriend in a different country or a different state or across the country. And I don't know. I wanted something extraordinary then, and I still want something extraordinary now. And I know that may not be in my hometown. I know that may not be in my neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, you have to expand out to be able to find not only your niche, what you want to do in life, but also that special someone. I think that's important. You meet varieties of people, not being in your comfort zone. You have to get out there and put yourself out there and give yourself that opportunity to have people come into your life, which is great.
Yeah.
How about your longest serious relationship? How long was that for?
My longest relationship is probably a year and a half.
So you are one to, because that's usually short for many. I hear a lot of people say they've had relationships for 3 years, 4 years, 10 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
So I would say you're one to maybe cut it off short, maybe quicker than most out there. Would that be fair to say?
I would say some of the longer relationships that were, you know, a year or more, all needed to have been cut shorter. I wanted to work it out. I was like, you know, or I didn't want to leave, or I wasn't ready to leave, or I was afraid to leave, or, you know, it's like, oh, I have to change my life. I have to change my friend group. I have to I have to delete all the pictures off the internet. I can't do, you know what I mean? Like, now everyone's going to know, like, just you kind of sometimes prolong the end. And I think a big reason for why I haven't been in a long relationship was because I didn't know what I really wanted. I didn't know myself. And I think what I really want, what my heart wanted, and then like what society told me that I needed to want, / like what I thought I needed because of my career, I think they just kind of clashed. And I couldn't figure out the balance.
If you were to get into a relationship now, since you're a singer and you have a following, would you prefer to keep your relationship life private, or would you post pictures online? Or do you think it's a safer bet to just keep things private?
So I want a private man for sure. I think that's the move. Again, I'm not opposed to dating like another artist or another creative. Whatever God wants for me, you know, I'm down. He knows what's best. But I think private is the best until it's like
serious.
Serious.
Yeah,
until we've been together a long time, and then, you know, because I'm so into like the pictures and the videos, and I just like, of course, like when I'm in love with someone, I want to shout it from the rooftops, you know. I'm like, I'm in love with this person, and I just want everyone to know, and like my friends are happy for me, and you know, you get like that validation and all of that, which feels really good. And then it feels good I like being shown off. Like I like when my partner wants to be like, this is my girl, like I love that.
100%.
But people throw rocks at things that shine. So I think having a private relationship is so important. And again, going back to the whole, then you break up, you delete it, everyone knows, it's just like, I don't know. I'm trying to do things differently this time in a way that I never have before. And I think privacy is key. That's a newer avenue I'm driving down.
What steps are you taking next to have a relationship, say, longer than a year and a half or more?
Oh, I want to like get married, and I want to I want a family. I want kids. I want to do all of that for sure. But it has to be with the right person. Like I'm 32. I didn't wait this long, to just like settle with someone. Like I know the right person's going to come, and that person only comes when you are doing you. Yeah. I was like, I'm not worried about this. I'm not doing this. I wasn't on any dating apps. I recently got on Raya a couple months ago.
I haven't heard of that one, but okay.
Raya's pretty cool. Everyone's pretty sexy on there, not going to lie. Shout out to Raya.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah. Are you depending on an app to be able to get that special someone? Or are you just mixing it up just in general? It could be meeting someone in public. It could be someone that you vibe with that connects you with someone else, or dating apps. What could be anything, I'm assuming. I'm open to whatever, but I never thought that like my story would be like, oh, we both swiped right, and this is this is my, because guys, I'm a songwriter, I'm a storyteller, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've met some incredible people actually on Raya who, are from all over the world and different places. And I'm like, I wouldn't have met them elsewhere. We wouldn't have ran into each other. I've been a hermit crab this past year. I've been, kind of in my zone, live streaming every night, not really going out, all those memes that are like, these girls are like, oh, no one wants to date me, but you never leave the house. It's like, well,
I see that.
You got it. You got to get out there. And so I'm like, I haven't really been out there, but I've been hitting the gym every day, and I've been focused on my music and my career, my stuff, and praying. And I'm like, God, I know you're going to bring me the right person. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know what he looks like, but I know he's going to be a leader. I know he's going to be cool, calm, and collected. I know that I'm going to think he's hot as fuck. I know that there's going to be chemistry, and it's just going to be something that you feel and that you know. And so I just highly recommend everybody like pray on it. Like for real, pray on it.
That's it. I think it looks like that people in the group that you surround yourself with, you bring good energy, good vibes. And I think all of that is going to bring you that opportunity for that guy to come up to you, not feel intimidated, and ask you out. So that's one thing. Also, I did want to ask you, that intimidation that men may have, do you think that holds some guys back from asking you out?
Yes and no. I always find the initial approach to be kind of funny, because
the guy's nervous.
Well, sometimes they're nervous, or it's like not the guy that you want to come up to you. You know what I mean? Like okay. It's kind of like the person that like you're not attracted to, but has like the most balls. And you're like, if only it was someone else, thank you. You know what I mean? And again, and that's okay. It's okay to not find everybody attractive. It's okay to tell someone, no, I don't really feel it with you, but thank you so much. I think a lot of girls sometimes feel bad or feel obligated to give the number and things like that. I've been that girl. But hey, you like what you like. That's cool. You feel it. You feel the chemistry. You make eyes. You say what up. I mean,
I think that's why so many guys find it intimidating to approach women in general, because as a guy, realistically, it's going to be 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be a no, right? You might not be her type. She might not find you attractive. But yeah, I think as long as you turn the guy down politely, like, hey, nice to meet you. No, thank you. I think some guys are scared of being embarrassed, or like they approach the woman and she like flips out. But how do you handle it when a guy approaches you and you don't find him attractive?
My mother always taught me to do all things with grace, because my mother is super beautiful and always has been. And I'd be out with her, and people would come up to her, even as a little kid, people going up to us, oh, you're so beautiful, Roxanne, oh, ma'am, you're so beautiful. And my mom would just be like, thank you so much. She goes, always say thank you, always be nice, always be respectful. Like this guy has the gumption to come up to you, and to give you a compliment. that takes balls, that takes courage. And yeah, I usually treat everyone with respect. I say thank you. And now that with social media, you know, oh, can I have your Instagram? I'm like, yeah, follow me on TikTok, you know, and then that's cool. But don't be weird. And this is what Jenna gave me the look. I was like, that's exactly what it is. Just don't be weird. Don't be weird. Don't be creepy. Because then I'm going to have to go. I'm gonna have to go off. You know, there are times, you know, and then a lot of times there's just, guys, men are great. Like I love men. There are men who will be like, yo, bro, she's not interested. Step off. You're being a creeper. Step off. You know, guys who are way too drunk.
Oh,
that is the most unattractive thing on the planet to me. I don't care how hot you are. If you're, yes, facts. I don't care how hot you are. If you are sloppy drunk, that is the biggest boner killer, and I'm not here for it.
Absolutely.
Can't do it.
And it's interesting you say that, because there's a lot of guys that shy away from asking somebody out because they don't want to feel like they're harassing a woman. They don't want to feel like they're a creep. They don't want to feel like they're bothering her. They're afraid to get rejected. They're afraid to get that no. But it seems that as long as the guy is acting with decency, not coming up like a stupid drunk, and even if you may not be interested, at least you'll give him the time of day, respectfully reject him. And he can at least learn from it and take it to someone else and try again, and not feel that I asked this girl out. She put me down. She was this, she was that, she was nasty.
So all women suck.
So all women suck. And I don't want to ask women out anymore. I'm just going to go back, hide in my mother's basement, eat ice cream, smoke, and play video games, and that's it. So it's good that you are going about it with respect, because a lot of women out there, they don't, unfortunately. They come off rude, they come off nasty, and they'll tell a guy off, and that's when guys give up. So I applaud you for that. That's
really, it's good to hear.
That's great. Yeah.
And a little tip for all the men out there: come up with a compliment that you mean. Don't say things you don't mean. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go up to a woman and you're like, "Hey, wow, like you're really beautiful," or like, "You look," I just had to come up to you and tell you that you look stunning tonight, and then just walk away. She gonna be like, it gets me all the time. I'll be like, wait,
come back and talk to me.
Come back. Where are you going? You know, but it has to be genuine. You have to mean it. You know, like don't just, you know, oh yeah, your shoes are cool. Like, no, come up with a genuine compliment and say what up, you know, or like send a drink, or like I see girls online sending guys water shots. I think that's so funny.
Water shots?
Yeah,
that's funny.
What if? And then they're all like, oh, they see a group of girls and they're like, oh wow, thanks, and they go take the water shots and they realize that they're water.
Oh, that's funny.
But I think it's like a good like conversation. Like it gives you a reason, icebreaker to go and talk to them. So yeah, just be yourself, just be genuine, and like don't let any of the grumpy girls get you down.
Put you down.
East Coast is hard though. Like we go hard out here, you know.
A lot of people here have strong personalities. Like go out to the city and like you're gonna get a different girl than you get in maybe like South Jersey, right? It's a different.
Jersey girls though.
They're different.
They're tough.
Yeah,
they're like, what are you looking at?
Exactly.
And you're like, just dead face. You.
Yeah. Ooh, nice.
That's a good one. That's definitely a good tip for the guys out there. You guys out there watching, you men out there watching, listen to Sasha, because she has some good tips. And I'm sure you being in the city, the girls out there are more energy, more vibey, more willing to...
From all over the world.
All over the States. Willing to do it up versus the Jersey girls who are a bit tougher. They're a little bit stubborn, a little bit more petty at times. So I can definitely see that. So props to the city girls.
Oh, second tip that goes along with being confident, right? What are you looking at? You look beautiful. Walk away. You know, something sweet, something genuine. You guys smell good. For the love of God, please smell good. Yep. I can tell you, I have said yes to dates and hung out with men who I would have not normally found them attractive, but they had confidence and they smelled so good. So like, just smell good.
100%.
And be confident.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a good fragrance. You just can't overdo it. Don't spray it 15 times on yourself. Yeah. On the neck, maybe on the shirt a little bit. But
definitely on the shirt. It stays longer on the clothing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't overdo it. I mean, definitely have to have good hygiene. Definitely have to wear some good clothes. take care of your hair, take care of your face, take care of your skin, take care of your teeth, your breath, everything. So it's not that hard. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, Sally.
Keep it simple.
KISS, right?
Confidence and smell good. Those are my two big ones.
Now, I like that. I like that. Now, you mentioned timing. As far as timing is concerned, right now at this point in your life, are you ready for that serious relationship? If a guy comes up to you and asks you out and he wants to take you out on a date and it takes off, 2, 3, 4 dates, maybe a month or two in, and it gets serious, are you ready for that moment?
Yes.
Awesome.
Is there anything about like getting into because I'm sure everybody has their own version of this. Is there anything about like getting into a serious long-term commitment again that kind of like worries you or scares you? Like, is there anything that like you're worried about when it comes to stepping into something long-term?
Yeah, I'm terrified.
Really?
I'm completely terrified.
Really?
I'm ready for it, and I know that I want to be a man's piece. I want to have fun. I know how to like make a house a home. Like, I got that like motherly nurturing instinct in me naturally. Like I want to take care of you, but I also want to be taken care of, right? We all, men and women, have different roles in life. They do different things. But yeah, I'm completely terrified. I'm fully terrified, right? Like, what do you know? Like, how many people get divorced and you have kids and everything's great. And then the kids kind of get older and then you guys didn't focus on yourselves. And then you get divorced or, these sexless and loveless marriages. It's a little terrifying, but I think that from what I've been learning, those who lean on God instead of leaning on other people, like couples that pray together and are like, I choose you every day. I think there's just so much really good advice out there, and who you pick is the most important thing because like once you're in it, you're in it.
Yes.
So like all the red flags that you see in the first 90 days, those are going to be the problems that you see
5 years later, 10 years later.
on.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like that selection process is so important. And then when you just don't rely on the lust or like, oh, I want a hot man, like, I want to be with the baddest bitch. It's like, well, do you?
Yeah, I think, guys learn a similar lesson. When you're younger, you just go after looks, and then like you have a couple bad experiences and you realize like there's a little bit more to it than just that, right? Like as a man, if you only go for looks, you're just, that's bad news. Like, so, we're in our 30s. I think as you get older and you have your experiences, it starts to become more clear, like what's really important, what qualities you need to make a relationship successful. But I think everybody has that fear. One of our last guests mentioned how whenever she gets into something short term and it gets serious, she panics and backs out of it. Like that, what do they call it? Like anxious avoidant.
Okay.
Where the relationship will be going perfectly fine, but like when things get too serious, she will panic and just back out. And I think some people, I've experienced that myself, where I was seeing a girl for a few months, and as things got serious, she pulled the eject button. So have you ever experienced that, or that's not your?
I've had people do that to me.
I've had both men and women do it. Yeah,
I've had guys do it to me, and the only time that I've ever done that, excuse me, the only time I've ever done that has been when we're vibing, it's great, and then it kind of like shifts. It's like, hey, I really like you. I have feelings for you. I want to like date you. I want to go to the next level. And then if I freak out, that's not my person.
Okay.
That's the sign. That's the sign. Or some people might be like, oh, well, this guy, he really likes me. He really loves me, or he says he does. I've been single for a long time. And that fear of being lonely, or that fear of not finding anyone, like with love, like fear and love, like they're opposites. You got to just eliminate that fear. And if you do feel that anxiety, that fear, that's not your person. And I also heard once that like butterflies are really just like red flags, like that feeling in your stomach where you're like, that like
nervousness,
like that negative gut feeling, like, oh, you don't feel good about what could happen next.
Because anxiety and excitement come from the same place in the brain. I learned recently.
Oh, interesting. All right.
So I know that they're like, those aren't butterflies, girl. Those are red flags. And a few times I had felt that, and I now that I know that, I was like, oh yeah, you know what? Actually, homeboy was a red flag. Like that I was nervous. I was excited. He was cute. It was fun. But then like he said this and he said this and he said that, or like sometimes I've like left a date and it was like perfect.
Yeah.
And then I'll just like start crying.
Whoa.
And I'll be like, and I'll be like, why do I have so much anxiety right now? I remember I called Jenna after a date that I went on in London, and afterward I was just like crying, and she's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I don't really know.
Whoa.
But then like a couple things that he said, just started to like, I had to like process things. And then I was like, I don't think he's being truthful here, right? Like too eager to be with me, too eager to talk about family, kids, future. When are we going to see each other next? Like it was just a little.
Okay, like, came on a little too strong.
Even though that's like what I want.
Yeah.
But it almost was like not real. Like some guys will say whatever they want just to sleep with
telling you what you want to hear,
like,
type of thing. Yeah,
it's like okay, and then I had him in my mind. I was like, yeah, I felt that day. I felt a little weirdness. I prayed about it. I was like, God, if he's for me, let it come to fruition. If he's not, take him away as you see fit.
Okay.
I got that from Girls Gone Bible. They're amazing. And it's a really powerful prayer. And then he like ghosted me for like 5 days.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, you're trying to have a relationship with a girl overseas and you're going to tell me that you can't text me.
Right.
It's like, I don't require a lot when we're in that getting to know each other phase. But like, if you want to be exclusive with me and you don't want me to date anybody else, like, but you're not going to text me for days at a time or at least schedule a time for us to talk or FaceTime or see each other, then that's whack. Then you're fucking someone else.
Yeah. I see. The math is mathing.
The math is mathing, and it's true for girls too. So it's not just men, you guys. Girls will come out and be like, because I've sometimes word vomited and said a bunch of shit that I didn't mean. And I was like, why did I say that? I totally made him think that I was way more into him than I was, but it was like, I didn't want to, it was such a nice date and he spent all this money and he looked so cute and it was great, but he's not the one. So I'm just going to kind of like have fun and be fun and flirty. And then when it comes to the serious chat, that'll happen, later on. I don't know. It's hard. I used to have a hard time being direct and being honest about how I really felt to a guy's face. I really struggled with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the battle with dating. There's guys that are going to put their resources, time, and energy into it. And for some women, no matter what the guy does, it just won't work for them, unfortunately. It seems like that's probably been the case a handful of times for you.
The impossible to please.
The impossible to please.
The impossible to please. Yeah, guys, again, I think that all comes from fear. Something I've learned is, it's all come from fear. Have I missed out on some great guys? I think so. I think there have been some great guys that obviously they weren't for me, right? What's for me won't miss me, for real. I know that sounds like kind of lame, but I do believe that, and just looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, I hope that they find somebody great because I wasn't that person, right? You kind of just wish people well. If it's not with me, it's okay.
Right. Do you ever look back at like any negative experiences you had in the past, breakups, and like look for those patterns in potential men that you go on dates with?
Elaborate more.
In other words, like if you're on a date with a guy and like you ever get like flashbacks like, oh, this is a red flag because it reminds me of so and so, or this, I had this experience once before where you just don't want to repeat it again, type of thing. Yeah, right.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Some of the lines that people will say.
What lines do you get? Because this is going to be interesting to a lot of people out there.
I mean, just be careful of the guy that's too excited to date you. Be careful of the girl that's too hyped to date you.
You think that the guy or the girl that's too excited to date someone has different intentions than just being excited to date that person?
Yeah. I don't know.
Because it seems like, okay, it's like a too good to be true type of deal.
There we go. That's what it is.
Okay.
And Jenna knows this. We had an experience in late November where I had met someone and I was so hyped. Like I was like, oh, he's literally perfect and he wants the same things and our children would be beautiful and like we already had that talk and like blah 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 blah. You kind of like in your 30s you kind of skip some of the steps, right? You're kind of like, okay, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I want.
No time for BS.
Yeah, we're not BSing. Like I'm intentionally dating, this is what I want to do, versus like, oh yeah, I'm into an open relationship. Like, okay, then we're not on the same page with that, right? And no disrespect to open relationships. If it works for some people, it works for some people. It's just like not where I'm at in my life right now. And that's okay. You have to have those conversations. Like I was saying before, I used to not be very direct. I used to have a hard time like really telling someone how I felt and what I wanted. I think it was always to like avoid hurting their feelings or, like I'm like, this is hard enough. And I think I kind of had like a bleeding heart for people for a long time. And I had to finally learn to stand up for myself and be like, okay, no, or
I'm going after
like
what
this.
I want, and that's it. Like, no, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but if someone's too excited, like homeboy was so excited. Do you remember that, Jenna? That shit was crazy. I was like, okay, and I felt the butterfly in my stomach, and it was not a butterfly. It was like, you've seen this before. You've been love bombed before.
I was just about to say that. Something I hear a lot of is women will say like watch out for love bombers. If the guy shows too much interest and comes on too strong right out the gate, gifts, and that it's a red flag. What is it about the love bombing that kind of like turns you off? Is it like, okay, it's fake, or like what are his real intentions?
So, not gonna front. I love being love bombed. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Why would you not, right? You like if someone wants to give me gifts and call me all the time and text me throughout the day and check on me and all that kind of stuff. The problem is that the love bomb is not real, and it's only temporary.
Okay, and
it's like empty promises of a future, you know. And then the worst is when it's like love bomb, love bomb, love bomb. You know, I see my life with you. Like, I'm going to do this, Sasha. Like, you know, we're going to make this work no matter what. Like, I'll move to New York, like you name it. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, the best was, what's your address so I can send you flowers for your birthday? Text me every day, all day, call me, FaceTime me on my birthday. The flowers never showed up. And I didn't say anything at first because I was like, okay, maybe it's like a delay. Like maybe it's this and that. It wasn't until 2 weeks after my birthday. We were driving to the gym and I was like, Jenna, something don't feel right. I was like, something don't feel right.
Something in the pit of your gut. You got that feeling.
And it made me sad. Like I got sad. Like tears welled up in my eyes. And I was like, this man is still texting me every day, like trying to plan a trip, a vacation with me, but couldn't send me fucking flowers on my birthday.
And ask for the address.
Ask for the address. Ask for my size and clothing. You know what I mean? I was like, what? And so then I finally had the courage and was like, hey, did you actually send me something for my birthday? And of course I got like the 9th degree of like excuses and it kind of became argumentative. And then I was like, look, I'm just like, and that to me was the red flag. I was like, cool. So you spent the last 3 weeks like telling me everything I wanted to hear and this, that, and the third, but like you couldn't send a bouquet, a $50 bouquet of flowers to my house that you asked I didn't ask anything of you. You said you were going to do that. And then that goes with a man who can't keep his word. And if you can't send me flowers after you asked to send me flowers, then we are not building a life together. Like that's fucking lame.
So what was his purpose of getting your address? Because it seems like nothing really.
Nothing ever showed up. Nothing
ever came up.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Asking for an address and not sending anything. It's like,
isn't that weird? And then still calling me on my birthday.
This was somebody in the U.S. or in another country?
This was someone who I met in the U.S. Yeah.
Okay.
From another country, but I met in the U.S.
So it's fair that someone can send flowers. I mean, you're within the country. It's not like you're overseas somewhere.
Oh, no, you can do it overseas.
You can, but obviously there's not that difficulty compared to doing it within the U.S.
Nope, there is no difficulty. I have an app on my phone that I use for my friends in the U.K., and it's as easy as buying clothes off Shein or ordering something on Amazon or ordering a pizza. It's an app. You send it, you do it, you pick the little thing and they do it for you. It takes 2 seconds. So there's really no excuse. You know, I was like, oh, did you put them on a cargo ship? They come with
Did you buy them here and then send them to?
Yeah.
They get lost in the mail or what?
Yeah, nothing gets lost in the mail anymore, guys. We have sophisticated systems. It ain't like that. So, you know, and then I was sad. I think I like cried for a few minutes and I was more angry with myself. I was like, I got my hopes up. I was excited.
Yeah.
I believed this person. And that's where like that, all men suck. And, you know, that's where people can like make or break you at that point. And instead of me being like, men are trash, because they're not, I was just like, this guy's a liar. That's really what it comes down to. You're a liar. And if you're going to lie to me about sending me a bouquet of flowers and you didn't really do it, then what else are you lying to me about? Who else are you sleeping with?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I agree. And before we go further, because I have a really turning point type of question for you.
Okay.
All right, guys, don't forget, we are the podcast guys on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We have Sasha in the house with Jenna behind the scenes. Follow us, guys. We just cracked 1,500. Let's get to 1,600. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. You get opportunities to see guests like Sasha. We have future guests coming on. Likely Sasha will come back as well. So subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, the Podcast Guys _ the Podcast Guys 5 on X, and we're the Podcast Guys on Spotify. So if you can't watch, at least listen to us there. So the next question, which I think is crucial.
Okay.
How do you truly know who the right one is? And let me elaborate on that a little bit. You may know somebody or meet somebody that has all these red flags, and you know right away that no, they're a no-go. Or you may meet somebody through a friend, a couple red flags, but they seem like good people. Try it out, see what happens. And then you find out, not so much. Or you may meet someone that has all these green flags. They mark off all your standards, your expectations. But all of a sudden, 4 or 5 months in, a 180. And they turn into a different person. So how do you truly see who could really work out for you?
All I can do is, make a prediction or an assumption because, I'm not married. I'm not in a long-term relationship. So it's hard to be certain about that. But again, I think when you pray for something, like just asking God, if it's for me, show me. If it's not, take them away, and sometimes we can be a little delulu. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we can date somebody for 4 or 5 months and then they do a 180 and our friends around us are like, he done diddly did a 180 months ago. Sasha, what are you talking about?
We've all been there.
So sometimes we can be a little delulu. Sometimes we don't want to give up. You're like, oh, but he has all these amazing qualities, but I think ultimately you have to trust your gut. You have to trust your intuition and you have to just like talk to your higher power about it because from what I hear from people who are in successful relationships, someone brings you peace. They understand you, like there's a lot of love and support. Like I have a couple of friends who are married and have kids and like are in these like beautiful, loving relationships. And I'm like, I want what you guys have. Like, that's so cool. Like, not just the best friend thing, but like really a man that holds it down, and a woman that holds it down too. And everyone like plays their role and does their thing, but there's just a level of comfortability. And it's really beautiful. It's like he knows everything about me. I know everything about him. And we're just growing together. And you see it in the kids. The kids are amazing.
It should be seamless in a way, right? The relationship should be seamless.
I think so.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I think you're going to go through hard times. And I think that's really when you see who someone is. It's not at the beginning. It's when you actually start.
The true test in dating are going to be your first serious arguments. I think another major test is when you move in together. When you move into, have you ever lived with somebody that you dated?
Yes.
Would you agree with me on that? Like,
yeah.
Once you move in, it changes. So I think it's good to test that out before you get married and see if you guys could even stand each other when you live together. So
what's your experience living with someone? Are you able to elaborate a little bit on that? Obviously, you don't have to get into the private details, but
no, I love living with a boyfriend. That was fun. I had a great time, and especially when the times were good. And we were a team. House was clean. Cats were fed. We were moving and grooving. Okay, dressing up, going to this event. Okay, you got work. Okay, cool. I'll pick this up. There's just like this beautiful like teamwork camaraderie that you have.
100%. I think that's important.
It's fun. It's nice to go to sleep with someone that you love too.
Yeah.
That's like
going to sleep alone sucks, right?
No. It doesn't suck. It doesn't suck. I disagree.
Sometimes you need it, but sometimes it's like, when you want that relationship, when you want that person, your person, then you miss it sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that works for both men and women. I can see how many guys out there are unfortunately, truly lonely. They don't know where to turn to, don't know who to turn to, and they want their someone. It's tough for guys out there. I mean, between the ages of 18 and about 29, 30 years old, about 33% of the guys have either not been in a sexual relationship in the past year or are virgins. So it's tough.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this a new stat?
It's a stat that's out there, yeah, and it's tough for guys out there. So
what do you think is the reason for that? Is it?
I was just about to ask you the same question. So they're calling it like the male loneliness pandemic. There's videos, channels that like kind of like focus on just this. Yeah. What would you say it is from like a female point of view?
I mean,
do you feel that like realistically, like most guys should be dating and like have the qualities to date? Like it's like, how would you judge a majority of men that like aren't successful in dating? Like, what do you think they have to improve?
I think you just got to be comfortable in your own skin. Go to the gym, you guys. Go to the gym, get your cake up, make your money, start a business or continue to, build yourself up in the best way that you can, and your girl will come. That's what I feel. I think a lot of people, like, when you really want something and then you're kind of like that desperate feeling and you're actually pushing it away. Yeah. I've done that before with money. I've done that before with friendships, relationships, business opportunities. And you're like, once you just stop giving a fuck and you're just like, I'm just going to do me. Like I told you guys earlier, I was like, I'm just going to drop music. I'm just going to drop videos. I'm not going to do any of this. Oh, we have to have a whole marketing budget behind it. And no, I'm just going to create and do me. And we're just going to pa'lante, keep going, because that's what's going to bring opportunities to me, is when I'm actually physically making something, creating something. So my advice to all of the lonely guys out there is to make something, create something. And that includes yourself, right? Take care of your body, take care of your health. As far as like social interaction, what do you guys think? Is it everyone's just behind the phone, behind the screen? Like why are all these guys in hiding?
So especially the younger generation, Gen Z and the younger guys after them, I think, like, we grew up, we were always outside, right? In our 20s, we were out multiple times a week. Now that generation's locked in their room, playing video games, they're on their phone. That causes them to be socially awkward. That causes them to not be confident. They don't have social skills. You put them in a social scenario, they get anxiety. Anxiety is higher than ever. So I think the social part of it is huge. I think people are glued to their screens and they're being, brainwashed into that type of a lifestyle. You have to go out and meet people. Like, if you're not comfortable, to your point, in your own shoes, going out and just having conversations, forget women, just with people, forget dating. You know what I mean? So
yeah, guys, go to the gym, join a gym.
We always preach the gym first.
Go do some jujitsu, take a boxing class, make
if there's
some
one
new
way
friends. Men need men. Like, men need each other. I remember telling my dad, I was like, Dad, you need a band of brothers. Like, guys, you guys can't do it by yourself. You can do everything when you have a team. I would not be where I am after all the terrible things that happened to me, over the last couple of years with my career and just, some bad actors who entered my life and business and stuff who really hurt me. I remember just feeling that moment of despair and then, praying about it. And then God brings me Jenna, and we just happened to meet on set during a commercial that she was an assistant on. And then we stayed connected. And then she reached out to me like when I needed her most, and all the content that I shot last year. And the reason why I have a live stream, everything, is because of this girl right here. So it's like, you can't do it by yourself. Guys need each other. You guys need a band together, build a business, go to the gym together, be social. And that's going to bring, play some sports. Like, that's going to bring you a lot of joy and happiness.
Huge.
And yeah, you got to meet some girls.
Yeah, I think first off, I think it's a fantastic relationship that you have between, Sasha and Jenna. I think it's great. I think there has to be a sisterhood and there has to be a brotherhood, So, and,
yes.
I'm thankful for Rob. I've known him for so many years. This is not
similar situation.
Yeah, there's a very similar situation. It's not possible without him as well. The podcast, guys, everything. And you need each other to be able to have other people come and be a part of that too.
Yeah.
I think that's very important.
Your friends are a good gauge for like when you bring someone around, is this the right person for me? You can feel energy, you can sense things. And I think that's been my strongest thing is I just remember being like, God, please help me trust my intuition. Please help me really feel it. And so I can walk into a room and I can meet someone and I can be like, that is just that we ain't hanging out over there, or like that was very fake, that the energy of what she just said. Did you really just say that? And I'll be like, this girl's not your friend. And some people will be like, how do you know that? And then 6 months later, it's like,
boom,
that girl is not my friend. And I'm like, I know. And she's like, how'd you know? I'm like, I just had the feeling. And you only get that feeling, y'all, when you're working on you, when you're taking care of you, when you're healthy, when you're drinking water, taking your vitamins, focusing on yourself. That is like, I don't know. I think that's the answer for everything.
It's something that people have to have a mindset about, because if they don't, then they're going to be on their own in this path. And it shouldn't be that way. And even so, as far, I've mentioned the same to Rob. I might get pissed off behind the scenes at me sometimes about it, but I've told him that, you know, there are some people in his life that might not be the best, you know, people to be around, you know, and that's what brothers are all about, just keeping an eye on each other, making sure that, you know, men and women, both men and women, you know, women, you know, dating wise, guys that are, you know, not so good friends. I've also mentioned, you know, the good. So I think,
of course,
you know, you mentioned the good people around, the good guys that are around, the potential girlfriends that could work for Rob. So that's very important about having a brotherhood, or for the ladies, a sisterhood.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And for the guys out there, I mean, are we lying? Are we truly lying? I don't think so. You heard it from Sasha's mouth. You got to get in the gym. You got to get your money up.
Yeah.
You got to work on your status. You got to work on your confidence, being relentless, being aggressive in a good way. All these things to be able to date a woman.
You're going to attract the right girl. You're not just going to attract girls that, oh, well, she just wants me for my money. Mm-hmm. Oh, she just wants me because I have a six pack. Oh, she just wants, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to smell that a mile away, and you're going to be like, nah, I'm good. If that's what you want. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're going to get what you want. You're going to get what you put out. You're going to get what you think about. You're going to get what you talk about, including the negative stuff. So everyone who's talking about how women suck, okay, well, you're just going to keep attracting women that suck. You know, all men are trash. Well, I disagree with that fully. And the second you change your mindset and what you speak into existence, you know, is so true. And I think when it comes to attracting good, you just got to do good, guys. Just do good. Just do honest business. Don't screw people over. Don't be a scammer. You're going to attract that type of woman. I'm telling you, birds of a feather flock together. So yes, going to the gym is great. You know, stay in, you know, work on your relationship with God, you know, get right with who you are. If you look a certain way, you don't like the way you look, you can always change it. Just be you. Do what makes you happy. But who you hang out with, who you spend time with, and the shit that comes out of your mouth is your reality. So let's change that. If you're lonely and you're listening and you're in your room and you're been having a hard time, let's make some changes. How are you talking to yourself? And I remember I'd be like, oh, Sasha, you fat lard. You know, like what, you know, just like hating on myself. And it's like, okay, no one would ever say that to my face. Why am I talking to myself like this? So if you guys are talking to yourself like this, men and women, let's change that. And just watch, in a short time, your life will start to change.
Yeah, I agree with you. What you're saying is huge. The saying is like, what the mind thinks, the body follows. And I believe that. If you ever heard that quote before?
No.
What you think about will eventually become your reality. If you have negative thoughts and you're constantly negative and you speak negatively, that will become your reality. And that is very true.
Yeah, I think it's important to keep a positive mindset, because that leads to bigger and better things. It's a start. It's where you need to start sometimes.
Yeah. It's
that mentality. Some things aren't working out. You're not having a good day, a good week, a good month. Turn things around by thinking positive and the little wins that you have throughout the day. You know, it could be that you helped somebody out. You did a really good deed, and they're appreciative, and they said thank you to you. And you made their life better. So in doing so, you made your life better.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing. Just the little things, and then you work your way up to, okay, your bigger goals that you may have gotten knocked down a little bit. You know, it could be that goal of trying to lock down that woman that you want. You may be knocked around by some girls saying no, no, no. Maybe you have 5 or 6 girls saying no. But that's all the no's that's getting you closer to a yes.
Yeah. It's like sales, right?
Yeah.
What is the rule? Every 23 no's, you get 1 yes.
Yeah, something like
a number rule. So guys, every time you get rejected, like you didn't want that anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean,
She wasn't for you. It's okay.
yeah, I mean, in sales, out of 100 people that you try to touch with, 93 of them will say no. A couple of them will say, actually, probably like 4 or 5 will say maybe, and then about 2 or 3 will say no. If I got my numbers right there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
So if
I like that.
You have to just keep pushing forward. You know, life is not easy in general with anything, but when it comes to dating, you guys, especially you younger men out there that are, 18 to 29, 30, you got to get out there and you got to push yourself. And we have a lady telling you that.
Go outside, touch grass, guys.
That's it. That's
on.
it. Touch
Come
and
on.
smell the grass and breathe the air because
It's great out here.
yeah,
They're trying to tell us that it's not. There's a lot of fear mongering going on.
There is. News, YouTube,
Yeah,
it's all negative.
It's all trash. It's actually really fun outside in the real world, and we have fun out here. And once you just kind of break through all the noise and let go of any, false truths and myths and things that we get told all the time, and just make your own decisions for yourself.
Yeah.
Go out there and date yourself, and then you decide.
100%.
It's a good idea to even take a break from all of it. Watching the news, watching those negative videos and everything, because like that will become your reality. You just have to turn that stuff off and like go out. This is what I hate about the winter in New Jersey, because I like going out and socializing. Right now it sucks. We were outside a moment ago. It's like 20 degrees outside, but when it warms up, like go out, meet people, socialize. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a huge part of men getting to know women and eventually committing. Now, do you see men having commitment issues?
I think it's both.
That men and women have commitment issues?
Men and women have commitment issues. I mean, I can only speak for myself, and I definitely had commitment issues, but I think, it was me just knowing that the person in front of me or the options that I had were not it.
Mm-hmm.
I had yet to meet someone who really blew my mind, or who I like pictured my life with, and that's okay. And that's where timing kind of comes in. So I feel like people with commitment issues, I think it's more of a timing thing.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe it's just not the right time. Maybe you shouldn't be going on 2 dates a week or however much, and in the city, it's crazy. You can go on a date every single night. Literally. Yeah. It's like, it's fun like that. That's a lot of fun. But some people just like to go on dates for fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity in the city. I mean, I know there's millions of people out there. It's insane.
It's fun. It really is.
It's insane in a good way. It's insane in a good way.
It is. But commitment, have you guys heard that phrase? It's like women date whoever they want, but men
sleep with whoever they want. No, I have that reverse.
Yeah, it's like women can sleep with whoever they want, but men marry who they want, and women marry who they can.
Yes, I heard that.
It's that whole thing of like, girls, we get so many options. Like we're the ones that say yes or no. Like we're the ones who get, in free at all the clubs. And, we you guys are expected to pay for dinner. I know that's like a hotly contested thing, which I think is so lame. Guys should definitely pay for dinner, which is why you should get your cake up and get your bread up before you start taking girls out to dinner. So that's not an issue. Right, because dating is expensive.
That's an expectation that men should have, is when they take out a woman, they have to pay. But, of course, here's another question for you. And I know you said it was a bit of a corny question earlier. We didn't ask it, but it was brought up. What do you bring to the table, or what should women bring to the table if a guy is going out and putting his time, money, energy, his resources into a woman, into not just the first date, but multiple dates going forward, with the expectation of possibly getting into a long-term relationship?
So if I really like you, I give you all of my attention. Like, you are the person that I am thinking about. Did you eat? How did you sleep? Oh, let me get this done for him. Oh, you know what? Let me clean the house. Let me do the laundry. Oh, he comes home from work. Let me leave him a love note on the door. I like to say that I bring romance and a home, you know, got to keep it sexy, got to keep it fun, you know, this ain't that type of podcast, but girls, you got to come with it. You know, I think a sexual relationship is super, super important, but it's not everything. Like I've seen these videos online where these girls are like, he gets this ass and he has to make $250,000 a year. And I'm like, no,
very super transactional.
No. That's not how this works.
No.
You know, like someone who can like really hold it down and like give good advice and be a good listener. It's like, I'm there for you. I'm a ride or die if I really like you, and I want to be like that energy, that fun. I don't want to be the thing that stresses you out. I'm not here to nag on you. I'm not here to be jealous and insecure and make your life more difficult. A man's life is already incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult. And especially if you guys are expected to be the breadwinners and to run businesses, like sometimes he just doesn't want to talk to you, babe. Sometimes he just doesn't want to talk. So just like get to know your man. Because it's not just about me. It's not just about us, right? Like, what does he need? And I think having those conversations and getting to know someone, you're able to fill in those holes, fill in those gaps to make their life a little bit easier.
Very good advice. And you mentioned this at the beginning of the episode. Look, everybody knows what they want, what their type is, but like it's very important. It's crucial to also learn what the other person wants, what the other person is looking for. Because if you only focus on what you want, you're never going to have a successful relationship. You do have, like you mentioned it before, that like at some point you started kind of looking into like what men look for, what makes men happy.
Oh, yeah.
You have to.
Oh, yeah.
You have to. And that's a part of why we do this podcast, is like we're trying to bridge the gap. And this is why we love having female guests on, to kind of like connect the dots between men and women. Because I think men and women oftentimes misunderstand each other.
That's what it is. I mean, we do want to bridge the gap. And I want the people out there to truly understand. We've made videos, shorts, clips, etc., for the past almost 2 years. We're about to hit 2 years. There's no hate or misogyny towards women. This is a bridge the gap type of podcast. We want this podcast to be for everybody, for all. So I like how you're explaining to the women what men are expecting, because when it comes from a man, it's like all hands up in the air. Oh, they hate women. They treat women like shit. They want this. They want that. And just complain, which is, we're on the same page with you with what you said with men want peace. Men want that woman when they go home to be kind of like a wifey type, even though they may not be married, but to act in that wifey manner, in that romantic manner. It'd be nice to have a meal on the table. I know I'm going to get a little blunt right now, but put it out there. Have a nice fresh meal on the table. Have the willingness to at least give your guys some attention sexually. It doesn't obviously have to be every single night or a few times throughout the day. Obviously to each their own. But just those things, supporting his career. You could also have your thing going as well. You don't have to necessarily, yes, men prefer that woman to stay home in general, be that wifey, take care of the household, the kitchen, the laundry, the kids, once there's kids involved, etc. But of course, she can have her thing going. She doesn't have to completely shut her life down. But of course, not at that level that it was originally when she was on her own, or that independent boss babe type of woman.
I will say this, there is such thing as the double shift for women, and it's we work and then we are responsible for the kids in the house and the cooking and the cleaning, and it's like 2 full-time jobs, and it becomes way too much. And I think for me, a way that I have, I was a nanny for like almost 15 years working in childcare. So I got to see a lot of different families and how they operate. I got to work with, more poor families, with wealthy families, families with 1 kid, families with 5 kids, and really got to see a little bit of everything. And, mom is responsible for a lot. And there's some men out there who are like, literally put all of that on their girl, and she works. Because right now, a lot of women are not staying at home. So the relationships that are beautiful are the ones that I've seen where like the husband is like, okay, you're pregnant, babe, stop cleaning. I got this. Or we'll just call a cleaner. You know what I mean? Like we're problem solving here. Like if you're working full time and your man's working full time and you don't have time to deep clean the house once, twice a week, then invest in a cleaning company. Like let's get it done. And I think that that's the key. You know, a lot of people just have these expectations of women, and then the girls feel obligated, or then it becomes this like this power struggle, right? Oh, well, I work too, and I bring this to the table too, and I may not make as much money as you, but I'm still working really hard, and it's just like all this like debacle. But I think if you can work together and say we both work, if you both work, you both work, and these are the things we need to get done. Let's get it done, even if it's not me doing it. I will pick up food. If I'm exhausted after being in the studio for 7 hours and filming content with Jenna, and I don't feel like whipping it up in the kitchen right now, I'll pick up food, you know, or better, he'll be like, babe, let's order food. I don't know. There's just, you got to work with your partner. And when you love someone, you will. If you don't, then, you know, you start naming off all the things that they're doing wrong. And
yeah, you know, nowadays, especially like you said, once you have a kid, there's a lot of stress. Both people are working, paying bills, cleaning the house, taking care of the kids. I have friends that have kids. You have to drop them off at daycare. You got to go to work, pick them up. So it's definitely a split responsibility, 100%. I think, you know, guys, like we get lazy. I think we're known for being kind of like laid back. Guys sometimes also need a kick in the ass from their wife. Or I think, honestly, as long as it's not like yelling, nagging, I think most guys, especially when they're with a woman that they're happy with, they're going to be willing to work with her on stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just like a brotherhood or a sisterhood, I think it's a team structure that should be involved, because when it's just, like I mentioned before, guy works, provides the resources, financial stability, and then some to a woman and the kids, his wife and the kids at home, and then she's taking care of, let's say, food, laundry, the kids, cleaning, all these other things.
Pick up, drop off, everything, yeah.
I think we got to mix it up a little bit too. Like I was saying, she can have her hobby or career as well. Guy can come home and cook some food as well. He can clean up a little bit as well. So just not as much, you know, to the degree of what a woman would. Same thing. A woman is not going to be the breadwinner in that case. She can go out and make some money and have some money for herself. It's a little bit.
Like, I don't want to take out the trash. Like, just take
out
the
the
trash.
guy should do that.
Like, take out the trash, baby.
There's
take
certain things that just the guy should do.
Take out the trash.
The garage.
Put their
That's all you.
Yeah, put their
yeah. Without a doubt.
You know? Or like, a lot of men that I've dated all cook and have been excellent cooks. I've been in a few relationships where like I was never in the kitchen. Like, homie got down.
I think any guy that works out is going to cook, right? Like if a guy's into working out, he's probably going to at least know how to make like a grilled chicken breast or pasta or something.
Yeah, because cooking, working out and cooking go hand in hand. You can't, again, fellas out there, you can't just go work out. You got to know how to cook, because you got to be able to know that working out is 80% eating and 20% lifting weights, cardio, etc. So that's very important. But yeah, it should be, now in 2025, it should be mixed up. Of course, again, women are going to do more of certain things and men are going to do more of certain things. And we highlighted those.
We're naturally good at different things.
Yeah.
I'm not going to leave the kitchen a mess. I'm just not. Yeah. Like, I know how to do laundry. We're going to get it done. We're going to be a team. So I just think we live in a more of a team society, because everybody works. It's not, our economy is what it is, and everybody has to work, if not multiple jobs. So, we can't kind of put that same weight on women to do the double shift, the double, triple shift.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been dealt a hand in life, and we have to take accountability and responsibility for what we have to deal with each and every day, day in and day out. And if we do it the right way or the best way, the majority of the time it's going to work out in our benefit.
Yeah.
And in the person that, again, that brotherhood, that sisterhood, or that relationship, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, it's going to make that stronger and stronger by the day. I think that's important.
You want to do things when you love someone and you're like, we're doing this together. Like, it's not a chore.
Yeah.
You're like, we're a team. Okay, cool. You got this. I got this. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. Avengers. You know, like you
superheroes.
just you just do it. That's how I like to look at it. You know, do all things with love.
Yeah.
How do you now, getting back to your career, singing, relationships, how do you cope with jealousy when it comes to dating and serious relationships? How do you go about that, and what do you deal with on a basis every time you have a relationship or you're dating somebody?
I think a little jealousy is okay.
What do guys usually
Just
like?
a little bit.
What is it about your lifestyle that like triggers them the most? Like what makes them jealous?
Probably the attention that I get when they're not with me.
Okay.
I think that's always the fear. The excuse I've gotten is it's not you, it's other people.
Okay.
Do they see that attention you're getting via social media or other people posting you or what you post with people?
I think it's mostly in person because, you know, what I post is pretty structured, right? It's like me and Jenna go out, we film content, or we're here, or we have a show or a fitting, or, you know, whatever it is that we're doing, or just doing some funny content, some silly stuff. I don't really think that the internet is much of a fear as it is in person, right? And I just remember one day looking at this man that I was with, and I was just like, what do you think? I'm just gonna go to the bathroom at this restaurant that we're at, because he followed me to the bathroom. And I said, you really think I'm just gonna go on my way to the bathroom and fall in love with someone?
Don't worry about cheating.
Right now, on the way, it was like, I'm just going to make eyes with someone on my way to the bathroom and leave you.
Yeah.
Just leave you. Like, after everything we've built, you know, and that's where, like, he was operating in fear. And that's where jealousy comes from, right? That's where all that envy comes from. It's fear. It's fear of being without. It's fear of missing out. It's a little bit of FOMO, but it's like, oh, you have me, though. And that's kind of always been the issue, or it's like, oh, well, that's how we fell in love. We made eyes across the room.
They're worried you're going to meet someone,
and then you're going to meet someone richer than me, taller than me, stronger than me, you know. And I think, again, guys, you got to be good with you. You got to be like, I'm awesome as me. Like, if she's that easy to steal, then she was never mine to begin with. You know,
that's true.
If my man is that easy to take, then take him. He wasn't mine. You did me a favor.
Yeah. The woman that's easy to get, that you get into a relationship with or you sleep with, that's the woman that you have to be careful and kind of keep in the back of your mind that she could do the same thing to you with another guy.
Whoa. Reverse.
Did I say it the wrong way?
I'm not sure. Just elaborate.
So,
let's say the girl that's easy to get with, because I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, so a girl that's, let's say, easy, that cheats on her current boyfriend.
Oh, you mean someone who cheats
on a current boyfriend? That's easy to get with, right? And she gets with you, and you guys have your fun. Maybe they break up, and you get into that relationship because that happened. Yeah, that happened so quick. It likely won't work out because she'll do the same thing and betray you the same way. She may see another guy. We talk about hypergamy all the time. We see someone better. We see something better. We want that in comparison to what we have. By nature, we're selfish creatures, and it's natural for us to want better, want to improve each and every day. So just because that happened to him and she's with you, that could happen to you. But if there's a woman that's been difficult to get, let's say she's a friend or someone that you've interacted with maybe as an acquaintance for a year, 2 or 3, and then something doesn't work out with the relationship and she becomes single, and then
fair game.
Yeah.
Totally fair game.
Once she becomes single, it's fair game. You ask her out, and then you can have some confidence that, okay, she's been in a long-term relationship. She wasn't easy to get with. She wasn't one to disrespect that guy and go off and cheat. I think that's a woman that you can feel a little bit more secure with in comparison to the easy one.
Yeah, when you meet someone through betrayal is likely.
It's coming for you.
Yeah, it's like a circle of life.
Yeah. It sounds like you experienced this. Is this something you've experienced?
I think it's more of something that I see more often.
Really?
Yeah.
You see a lot of cheaters.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't go out anymore.
I think being single, being in this, having our podcast the way we do, what we say, what we talk about, you see and learn a lot of things.
Okay. Well, we've had a few guests tell us that I asked them, like, what's your worst dating experience? And they were like, well, I was dating this guy and I found out 3 months later he was married with kids. And I was like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah.
so, you know, apparently it's pretty common in marriages. Who do you think cheats more in general? Men or women?
Gosh.
They both do it. Like, let's put that on the
both do
table.
it.
We're both guilty of it, but
They both do it.
But who does it more?
For sure. I'll tell you this. It's kind of like the breakup thing, right? It's like when a girl breaks up with you, she has been preparing to break up with you. She's talked to all of her friends. She's called her mom, you know, talked to her therapist, figured out, you know, is this the right move for me? This is a big deal, especially if you're like moving out or getting divorced or, you know, even just a regular breakup, like a girl's done with you. This has been premeditated. I feel like guys just kind of, I can't speak on men because I'm not a dude. So maybe you guys could answer that. But like when it comes to, you know, ending things and moving on, or the girl is suddenly in another relationship, you know, after that other one, it's like,
Or she's exploring the guys on her roster already.
we already know who's next is the line that I've seen a lot. And it's kind of true. We're a little bit more, you know, calculated. We're mentally stimulated. I feel like men are just a little bit more primal and kind of act in the moment. And like, you know, women think about things differently.
yeah.
And, you know, and we remember stuff and we hang on to things, and, you know, what you did 6 months ago, if you didn't change or, you know, didn't clean up your act or never said sorry, you know what I mean? These things happen. So I think that sometimes that can lead to cheating is when relationships are falling apart. It's kind of like she's already checked out. Well, now she's going out with her friends and she's getting hit on. And, you know, like you said, oh yeah, this girl was dating this guy. Oh, I found out he was married with kids. I mean, I think it goes both ways too. You know, men who are checked out of their marriages, or people
They're just married to be married. Like the feelings are not there. They're not attracted to each other anymore. That type of shit.
And that's different though, because what sucks about that is like you are locked in a contract. You got kids. Like relationships end. So like for the dude that's married that had kids but that was hanging out with you know a baddie. I mean, I also like, I don't fault him either. Yeah. You know, he probably works really hard and holds it down and takes care of everyone. And also is like, well, a lot of my needs aren't being met. And baby girl over here is doing that for me. Obviously, he wasn't truthful about his situation, which is shitty, you know, but maybe if he had been more honest, and she could have been like, you're just a human. You're just a guy. You got married young. You have kids. You're locked in this thing. I don't know. I kind of live a little bit in the gray because I understand that every circumstance is a little bit different. I'm like, oh, you're a terrible person because you cheated on your husband. You know, it's like
the rest of the story.
Yeah,
like
you have no idea what life is probably like for him at home.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, what happens behind the scenes and behind closed doors, you can't tell, because sometimes outside of that, there's a different persona, there's a different way that couple goes about things, but behind the scenes, it's fight after fight, argument, sexless relationship. One person's not doing some chores, the other person is, and this is just back and forth, this, you know, up and down. You know, maybe one day is something good happens and things are good for a couple of days, and then it just goes back down to what it was. So yeah, it's definitely something that occurs a lot. It happens often, and you know, we don't know about it, unfortunately. We don't know what happens behind the scenes, and we have to depend on what the result is afterwards. What happens? Okay, the relationship broke up. Oh wow, these people seemed like they were perfect for one another, but it broke up. Something happened behind the scenes.
Sucks, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, always, yeah.
Yeah, I think men are more likely to do like the drunken one night stand. They hooked up with some girl, and I think they cheat more for like a married guy's a prime example. He's not having his sexual needs met. Women, I think, cheat when they're not having their emotional needs.
Absolutely.
It's two different scenarios.
Yeah, for men, when it's
You gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing.
I always forget we have that sound.
when they're not getting that hawk too, every now and then, at least, then they're going to stray off and try to get it from another woman. And it's unfortunate, but it's just the cold, hard truth.
Yeah, and I think women, you know, I can speak for myself. I've been in some sticky situations, and yeah, dude, when your man's mean to you and you live together, or you don't live together, but you know that like you have to have this confrontation that you're avoiding to have, or maybe, you know, there are times where I wasn't super confident in myself and I was seeking validation elsewhere. You know, you walk that line. waters get a little bit murky, but it's not an excuse. I don't think, you know what I mean? It's not an excuse, but I do believe that in a lot of cases, men and women are justified in their actions. I think you're justified if you're,
it's fair to say,
you know, like it doesn't, not saying you're right. There's no right here, but like, I understand why you did that. Or like, I understand why you were texting, you know, this guy because he was being way nicer to you than I was. Or, you know, or there's history there. I mean, there's always something, you guys. But I think when you know about your partner, or when you take the time to do a little more research on like what women want, and you don't just think about you. I mean, I did that. I did that this past year. I'm not even joking, y'all. Andrew Tate changed my life. Like, and then listening to like other people who maybe aren't as, you know, intense as he is, listening, you know, meeting other people on different podcasts and branching out. I mean, everybody is saying something somewhat similar.
Yeah.
You know, everyone has their preferences and this and that. But like, for the most part, it was just like, okay, guys want this. Guys are simple creatures. And at the same time, women too. We're really not that complicated. I don't think so.
This is where
I don't think so.
This is where I'll throw the challenge, and respectfully,
Stop the cap.
I'll throw a little challenge at you there.
Okay,
because I think, not that I think, I know men are simple creatures. We want, as I mentioned before, fresh meal when we get home. Definitely answer to our sexual desires. Of course, it doesn't have to be every second of the day or every day or whatever it is, but of course, every so often. Support, peace, no fighting, and stability, of course, within the relationship. You know, there's a few other things, of course.
Yeah.
But women, we can make a list. They want a guy who's 6 foot taller or higher. They want a guy that makes money. They want a guy that has status. They want a guy that makes more money than them.
Hold up.
Go ahead. Let's see.
You guys, none of that shit matters. None of that shit matters. You can lose money. That can go away.
Are you saying that to the women?
Saying that to the girls. You can lose money. You can make or break. You can spend all his money and completely fuck his life over. You know, like anyone can get hotter. It's the soul. It's the heart. Is he funny? Does he smell good? You know, is he passionate about something? Does he love God? Does he love you? Does he put up with your ass? You know, like that's why I always say I don't have a type. You know, do I prefer a man that's taller than me? Yes. Have I dated guys who aren't? Yes. I've dated some short kings, some amazing short kings for sure. Shout
out to the short kings out there who don't get enough love nowadays. So,
but even then, I don't know if it's that they don't get enough love. I think it's just like propaganda on the internet, you know, oh, all the girls want this. But then it's like when you meet someone and there's chemistry and there's a connection, it's undeniable.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you just gotta go with your heart and go with your gut. But I hate that shit.
Yeah.
I really do.
That's why I wanted to just challenge you there a little bit, because the thing is that it's known. We've seen podcasts, we've seen, you know, social media. We know people that are like this. Women have these standards, and sometimes it's just standards that aren't even feasible. There are not even men out there that are able to complete these standards. There's the 0.00001% of men out there for some of these women. They just don't understand that. So I think it's important for women to bring themselves down, come down with that spaceship, come down from the stars, and really come to the reality of life that there might not be that perfect man out there. There's no perfect relationship. There's no perfect person, unfortunately. So
you're crushing dreams right now.
I'm crushing dreams.
You're crushing some dreams right now. Ladies, it's okay.
But here on the podcast, guys, we keep it real, and we want to make sure that we're not selling a fantasy. We're selling the truth.
No, absolutely. What were you
No. I was just listening to you guys, but I just wanted to say, like, we're going to definitely cut some shorts out of what you said, because that was perfectly said. And I wish more women adapted that mentality, because you always hear women talking about healing. I'm in my healing phase. What you said there, I think it was a great way to approach dating that's realistic. We're not here to preach to women like lower your standards. You should allow a guy to make $50K a year and be short and fat. It's not the point. We're not telling you to lower your standards. It's just how you're approaching dating. We need to leave some of that shit back in 2024. The whole like, well, you need to make $250K and, you know, be able to buy me this and that. there's nothing wrong with having standards, but be realistic. Like that's not how relationships work.
Have standards, but just adjust them a little bit, because you're not giving yourself that opportunity to have that truly good man that could be a part of your life, that could enhance your life in many different ways that you don't even realize, and you're not even allowing that guy to come into your bubble.
It's the heart. It's the soul, you guys. Is he a good person? You know, start there. Can he get fitter? Does he have good qualities? Does he have nice eyes? Does he have nice teeth? Does he take care of himself? Okay, weight, that could be fixed. Oh, he's so cool, but he's, you know, kind of chunky. Okay, babe, that could be changed. And the dad bod's kind of hot right now. You know, it's been hot for several years.
Another one I hear is like, I got the ick. And if you only focus on icks, or you only focus on red flags, you're always going to find a red flag. Everybody has red flags.
But the ick is so hard to get rid of.
So let's get into it real
Bro,
quick. So
the ick is no fucking joke.
what's the difference between an ick and a red flag? Like an ick is like a definite, like, oh, this guy's not going to work.
Oh, okay. That's a really
It's a
good
serious-
question. That's an ick is serious.
Okay.
An ick is serious. I mean, I know some girls who are like, the way he was eating his food gave me the ick. And
Okay.
so I never saw him again. I'm like, all right. Obviously the chemistry wasn't really there. You know?
It's a bit silly if you ask me.
There are some things that guys have said to me, and it's kind of my mind is not pinpointing on one, but like, I think one time I got the ick really bad when a guy made fun of me in front of a group of people. Like, kind of,
That's
like,
just disrespectful.
did a disrespect, and like, you can crack jokes on me all day. I'll take the heat. My TikTok live, they go crazy. You know, I get trolls all the time. I don't care. But like, the joke was mean.
That's a valid ick.
The joke was mean.
That's a valid ick.
And I just was like, oh, I got the ick. Or, you know, like when a guy is sloppy drunk, the ick. If you're like Family Guy drunk, you know, like at the drunken clam, like bubbles coming out your mouth, you're like
I've seen that
burping.
one. That's
you know what I'm
great.
talking about? Like you're at the drunken clam. If you're a drunken clam, that is gross.
Yeah.
That is an ick. And it's so hard to come back from that. A red flag is like, you know, a red flag is like the love bomb, right? Like, oh my God, I want to be with you. Oh my God, this, send me your address, all this stuff. Everything's great. And then, you know, he doesn't deliver. You're like, oh, okay. You know, that's a red flag. You didn't pull up. And then, you know, are you going to give him another chance? Are you going to see him again? Or, oh, he came back 2 weeks later. Hey, I missed you. I'm sorry about everything. Can we kind of start over? You know, it's like, okay, well, you already, now at this point, you're giving a second chance. And I don't recycle in real life. Like I don't recycle things because none of it actually gets recycled.
Yeah.
And I don't recycle relationships. Every time I've taken someone back after an ick, after the red flags, it has never worked out. And my mom always says that. She's like, chick, we don't recycle. I was like, no. That's very Jersey of chick. Hey, chick.
Hey, sometimes you got to just switch it up and leave what's meant to be behind.
What's a ick or red flag for y'all? What do men find?
What immediately
red
comes to
flags?
mind, I would say very like a self-entitled, prissy kind of like, it's more the general attitude. It's not, it's usually 9 times out of 10, it's not something physical or like, you know, guys aren't going to look at you and be like, oh, I didn't like the shoes she was wearing. It's more personality, attitude based. If it's like a snotty, self-entitled, I deserve the best of everything, I don't like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with that. Mine is different though, but I agree with that. That's definitely one that bothers me. A woman that is
Has a big back.
No, I want to say it nice. Well, that's with the looks. When
Every girl's at the gym going, fuck, I
listen,
don't want that.
Well, listen, for the ladies, looks are important for men. So
Yeah,
if
no,
you
they are.
if you want a man to at least notice you, to start something, you got to get your looks on point.
Take care of yourself, y'all.
Yeah, take care of yourself. Again, this is not hate. People are going to say misogyny. They're going to be like,
How dare you?
but there's no guy, at least the guy that takes care of himself, that works his butt off, goes to the gym, et cetera, that wants a fat woman. Okay, so just take it with me saying it nicely. Health, overweight, it's for you too. You want to be able to live a long, stable life. So I think that's important. But that wasn't my main ick. My main ick is once a woman, not playfully, because that's something else. Playfully is playfully, that's different. But once a woman seriously puts her hands on you, it's over.
Oh, like aggressive woman, yeah,
Aggressive woman that puts her hands on you, that punches you or slaps you or whatever the case.
That's abuse, babe.
Yeah, that's automatically like breakup, because who knows what that can lead to next. And unfortunately, here in the U.S. and in many parts of the world, domestic abuse is off the charts. And I think that it's important when, hopefully, again, this helps all of this, but especially this helps many out there. If you're in a situation where it's a potential domestic abuse situation, or it's getting to that point, or it is that point, walk away. If you're a man and you're getting abused from a woman, walk away. If you're a woman and you're getting abused by a man, walk the fuck away.
I agree. I've been in a few really bad domestic violence situations before, and the red flags were all there. Controlling behavior, and women do it too. Guys are getting abused left and right.
Oh yeah.
There's some men that can't leave their house, like, oh, my girlfriend's crazy. It's like, can't hang out with their friends, can't do certain things. That controlling behavior is really serious, and it can really cause trauma and can affect them for the rest of their life. And so, yeah, if you guys are in an abusive situation and you feel uncomfortable just listening to this right now, then you might be in one.
Yeah.
And you don't have to stay there.
Hopefully we can save somebody out there, some people out there that are going through something. So.
And no one likes to talk about men being abused. It's always men abusing women, but there are...
Abuse could be verbal too.
Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't hate, but I've encountered throughout my life certain women that are very verbally abusive. They're like, especially if it's like somebody small or, scared, they know they're not going to physically hurt you, but women know how to say those certain things to... You know exactly where I'm going with this. Like, if you're having an argument, you have that thing in your pocket. Like, oh yeah,
that viper tongue. You don't want this smoke.
Yeah.
No, but you're right. And I think mental abuse, like to play those games. You know what I mean? And your location, and it just there's a lot of weirdo stuff, controlling stuff. Oh, I checked your location 5 minutes ago. Why are you still at the barber shop? What are you doing? Who are you talking to? Like that kind of stuff. Like those are all forms of abuse.
Yeah.
This happens from men towards women, but mostly women towards men are mental abuse and like passive aggressiveness. They'll put that card out like, oh, I know what you did a certain amount of years ago, and if you do something to me, I'll get you back with that.
Oh, I hate that. Don't hang me by my past.
Exactly.
We're moving forward.
We all make mistakes, and unfortunately things happen within relationships, and you want to move on, but some people can't move on, and they try to hold that against you. And I think that's really unfortunate. That should not happen. And I think that's a form of abuse.
I fully agree with that.
Yeah. Well, I think we went roughly 2 hours. Do you have any questions for us or any topics you'd like to cover?
And this, you guys are going to have, similar, different answers. What is your dream girl like?
If you asked me this 10 years ago, it would probably just be a physical description. Now in my 30s, I would be more focused on, of course I want her to be, I have to be attracted to her, but I just look more for like, I don't want a party girl. I want a more stay-at-home type of person. But I don't really have a very specific type. Like it's not something that I have like you mentioned before. Like some people have like a specific type of person they want. It's just more like I want a more stay-at-home type of person. It could be my age. It could be somebody younger. I don't have a specific nationality that I'm into, but I don't want party animal, goes out every weekend. I don't even want to have to be like you mentioned, like the guy that has to be texting you, where are you at? What are you doing? I don't even want to get into that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because I used to do that. I've been in situationships and then relationships where it was like, where were you at? Why didn't you? I don't even want to get involved in those.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've been around to see those, and I don't blame you for not wanting to be around those situations. It's been hell. F you to those ladies out there that did that. But in any case, my perfect. You said my perfect girl. What do I see? My perfect.
And maybe not perfect, right? Because I think perfect.
Because there's no perfect.
There's no perfect, right? So what's your dream? Like, what's your dream girl like, or what's like your dream relationship? Like, what does that look like for you guys? And that's,
the relationship itself.
yeah, like more to it, right? Like we're talking about peace, and we're talking about like you definitely want a woman that can like whip it up in the kitchen and make dinner and hold it down in that way.
You already know it.
And I think that that's awesome. And you know, everybody is like okay, right? Everyone is like okay with different things, but you've mentioned that a few times. So, you know, and I hope that you attract a woman in your life who loves to cook and like loves to make your favorite things and have you try new things, you know. So like kind of tell me a little bit more about like what you guys like. Let's put that into existence.
Spend time together doing activities type of a person. I'm big on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
it could be
what?
anything. It could be playing tennis, hiking. Like I like doing outdoor stuff and spending time doing any activity. It doesn't really matter. I'm not saying like I want somebody that's going to sit home and watch like Netflix or like, 'cause I'm not into that either. Like, you know, but spending time together.
Okay. So for me, see, the thing is that as Rob does as well, but for me, I work my ass off, taking care of myself, going to the gym all these years, trying my best lately, not, you know, throughout the years, it's been up and down, but lately to eat as healthy as I can, take care of my body, my health. So I like my dream girl to be the same, to be in shape, to take care of her health, to have a healthy mind too. Have a healthy mind, positive mind. Anything that's negative, we deal with it, we move on type of thing. You know, there's going to be negatives. It's not going to be perfect, but that's part of it. Someone that has a great attitude, not going to be, you know, somebody that's going to be mistreating me.
Or negative, like a negative.
Yeah, like a negative Nancy type, type of thing. Those negative Nancys out there, you gotta check that. The guys out there, you gotta check your woman if she's being a negative Nancy, and of course in a good way. That's, you know, those are some things. Definitely someone that's gonna be, you know, settled down. I mean, the unfortunate thing is that a lot of the women that I see as a dream girl, unfortunately, that type of woman I see a lot are already in relationships or married.
That have those qualities.
Yeah. Personally, me, hard truth, there has to be a miracle in the world for this to happen. But me, I'm not going to speak for Rob in this case, because maybe I have accidentally at points in my life, in points throughout the podcast, but I'm not a marriage type of guy. I'm a serious relationship, natural relationship type of woman. If there's a woman that's willing to have a serious relationship, keep the government out of it, make it a true natural relationship, still have kids, all that, you know, I'm up for that. I think that's huge, and not someone that's, hey, I'm looking at you to get married. I'm looking at you for resources. I'm looking at you just for this. I've had women that, you know, we've had interest in each other. I've dated, or it's gone further than that. A lot of them ask, what do you do for work to start?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of important, right?
It is important.
Have you ever dated an unemployed? Well, you guys don't date men.
Unemployed.
I've dated an unemployed man before. It's not.
Yeah,
fun.
no, unemployed is crazy.
It's important, but why is it always that first question? Why can't it come on a little later on? Get to know me for me.
One of my favorite things to ask a guy when I first meet them is, what are you passionate about? Because what you do
there's a good
is
question.
not always what you're passionate about. It's like, oh, what am I passionate about? Some people are like, my business. I blood, sweat, and tears into this. Some people are like, I wouldn't say I'm passionate about my business, but I do enjoy it, and I'm good at it, and I'm, you know, bread and butter. But I'm passionate about art, or I'm passionate about, you know, film, or, you know, whatever. I think that's a good one. Naturally, in our culture, we just go, hi, I'm Sasha. You know, what do you do? Right?
Yeah.
You asked me first thing.
Naturally,
what do
yes.
you do?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm a singer and a live streamer.
Yes.
Right? So like, you can't totally be like, oh, you just want to know my bank account information, right?
You know what it is? I think we've been programmed to know and figure out what interests, what that other person has that may interest myself, me. So what a man's interested in a woman, what she has that interests me. Well, you don't have to ask her that much at the beginning, because mostly men want women for their looks to start, and that's what catches them, and they can see that, so they don't need to ask that. But when it comes to women asking men, I think they've been programmed. I see it. It makes sense. Yes, what do you do for work? What do you do in your career? What do you do in life? It makes sense. It's a fair question to ask because obviously women don't want to be with a bum. They want to be with the guy that can take care of them, protect them, and that includes making money and being able to provide and protect and provide resources for them. But I think that question, what are you passionate about, and maybe asking some other questions about that person, that human being within themselves, that woman is going to put herself miles ahead in comparison to the competition that's just asking, what do you do for work? What can you provide for me? Me, narcissistic mentality. That's what guys don't want. And I think that is a red flag that men should be aware of, because if she wants you just for your resources, then does she truly want you for you?
I think guys don't like being asked that question too. I like the way you worded it. Like, what are you passionate about? Because it starts the conversation. Yeah. It's something both you could talk about and get to know each other without being kind of like invasive, right? Guys don't like that question because what if you have an unattractive job? You're on your first date. What do you do for work? Oh, I'm a garbage man. The rest of that date is, you know what I'm saying?
But
like,
garbage men make bread.
I know.
They do.
But there's I don't know of an interesting way to talk about that job. Like, I'm a garbage man. I take garbage out for a living. You know what I'm saying? So like, you may have a good job, a good paying job, good benefits, but I think that's not our favorite thing to talk about as guys.
Right.
What is your favorite thing to talk about?
What we're passionate about.
What we're passionate about. I like this. This is a good question, right? I think
it is.
Could benefit from
and that's
that.
just an example of how just tweaking the question will completely change the conversation.
Yeah, it's a pretty loaded question because there's a lot that goes into it. And I would love to talk to women about sports, but there's women out there that don't have that much interest in sports. The majority of women.
Let's go Chiefs.
Oh, you're a Chiefs fan?
Yeah.
Oh, all
Grew
right.
up in Kansas. Chiefs girl. And I went to KU, so I'm also a Jayhawk.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You've been having a good handful of years.
We've had a couple good, but before we were terrible.
Yeah, it
was embarrassing.
I remember. So you got to enjoy.
So we're enjoying this this glory.
The fruits of
now.
your labor there. So that's.
I love it. Right.
We're Giants. Oh, well, I'm a Giants guy. So that's. I'm not sure if Rob's a Giants or something else, but
I love sports, and like to go to a game with my man is like so fun. Even if I don't know the rules, I don't know what's going on, right? Like I think
the experience is fun.
That's so
Games
part of
fun,
it, right?
Yeah.
Try something, do something. Hey, we're gonna have some drinks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're gonna go to this event. We're gonna do this. I think that's super beautiful. Like, what are you passionate about? What do you like to do? What are you into? I've met guys who are like, I really enjoy, watching movies at night and doing this and doing that. I can't lay around all night. I can't do that. We need to.
It's boring. You don't want to just. Yeah.
And that's okay. But I realized that he wasn't for me. So, and it wasn't necessarily like just from that conversation. It was like went on several dates, spent some time together, and was like, okay, this is it.
It kind of plateaued.
I was like, I need more. Like this just isn't working for me. Like I'm too wild. I'm too out there. Like I can't sit here and watch another episode of this again. Right. It's so I think, what you're passionate about, what do you like to do? And if she likes some of the same things or she's willing to try something new, and it doesn't, guys, I'm telling you, if a girl likes you, we don't care where we go, what we do, what we eat. We just are happy to be with you.
Yeah, that's very true. A valid point. I think guys emphasize too much of the whole, I don't want to spend too much on the first. If she likes you, she's going to go on whatever date you suggest, right?
Yeah. She'll enjoy with you that walk in the park.
Yeah.
Grab an ice cream cone
Get
or
a little
something.
coffee.
Yeah, get a coffee or something.
Yeah.
At least, spend a little something. Why not? Of course, it's a date. Make a good impression. But that's another thing that'll put a woman miles ahead. A basic date where she is not looking to grab something from you. So I think that's huge. Those questions that you said right there, ladies out there, hopefully we're getting more ladies to watch the podcast. Again, subscribe to the channel. Follow Sasha. Make sure that you're listening to this because you ladies out there, that's going to put you ahead of the competition. And dating's hard for both men and women nowadays. And the women that are struggling, if you take Sasha's advice, you're going to be in better shape than those that are just like, okay, what does he have? What can he do for me? It's not going to always work.
And look, guys, I am no expert. I've just been dating for a long time. I've been in New York now for almost 9 years. And I've had some great relationships. I've met some amazing people, and then I've also met some terrible people, and I've had some big failures. And you know, I don't have the playbook. I don't, you know, I don't really. All I know is I don't even know, but I have learned a few things over the last several years. You know, I have learned a few things in life, and I hope that you guys can take the positives and take what works for you and just put out good. Just ignore the noise that everyone is trash and that there are no good people honestly. Left, or like you were saying, all the good ones who are marriage material are already married. Well, that's just keeping you further away from what it is that you really want. You know, right. So just guys, be so careful about what you're saying and what you're putting out there. And then, of course, the most important thing is be grateful for what you do have and trust God. I'm telling you guys.
Yeah.
Wise words.
Great words. Awesome. I love it. And just to kind of wrap up my dream girl, yes, pretty much, attractiveness, someone that's going to want you for you. And there's plenty of wonderful women out there, single women out there, lovely women out there that are not married or in a relationship or even dating or maybe talking to people, because of course you got to, explore and not everybody's just not talking to no one. But that's something that's important. I think that having a woman that's going to give you the time of day, a woman that's going to give you a chance, you show her what you got, she shows you what you got, you kind of come together. I think that for me is gonna help the dream.
And just believe, just like it comes into business or me and my singing, right? It's like I have to believe in it.
Very good point. You have to believe in what you want, otherwise you'll never get it. Yeah, that's
exactly.
True. That's true.
You have to believe in yourself and believe in the people that believe in you, and you can always grow together. Whether again it's a brotherhood or a sisterhood or a relationship. So, I think I'm pretty simple guy. So that's my dream girl: attractive, simple, very caring, and someone that can trust me, can respect me, vice versa. I think those are huge.
I love it.
So I think we went roughly 2.5 hours. I lost count, but what do you guys say? Nice. You want to slowly start to wrap it up? Maybe we'll have time to do a live after this.
Yeah, I think that was a great thing to end on too.
Yeah, 100%.
On a positive note. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Do you have one last statement you want to add? Or
no, guys, just follow me. I'm Sasha Prendes. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. I just dropped a birthday vlog. My birthday was probably one of the best birthdays I've had in years. Yeah. I didn't cry on my birthday. It was nice.
Nice.
And,
that's always a good one.
I just dropped a vlog, and it's me and my friends running around New York City. It was a lot of fun. So let's keep in touch. Join Team Sasha.
Awesome.
And follow these guys.
We'll have all her links in the description as well as in the video. So go check out Sasha's stuff and her music. Sasha,
do you want to sing a couple of lyrics? Well, hey, we have Sasha singing. So do you want to, maybe a song that you... Water. Yeah. Absolutely. A song that you said you have a song coming out. I don't know if you want to give a preview to that, or maybe a song that you've had out before, one of your favorites.
Yeah, we could do a little.
Give the people
singing.
Give people maybe a
the people what they.
She sang a little bit before we recorded. She's good.
Yeah, she's really good. And if you guys, when you guys follow her social media and her socials and everything, you'll be able to see more about Sasha and how good she is with singing. So
you guys are sweet. So I wrote this song called Me Siento Sola. And it's about me settling for less than I deserve because I was bored or lonely. Those are kind of the two things, right? We settle for things that we don't deserve, but maybe we do deserve it in the moment because we attracted that, right? So this is my song taking responsibility for the shit that I attracted and manifested into my own life. So here we go.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Say you got a problem. More money, more problems, driving my car, trying to use me, yeah. Waking up a new Gucci, know that I bought. It's a problem, no, I don't want no drama. Got my bags packed, about to dip out quick, and I can't look back. You be wanting my buddy all up in my crib. You be chefing it up in my pretty kitchen. Sipping my tea, learn about me, unreleased music and smoking my weed. No, you don't deserve me, but don't you see? Me siento sola. Me siento sola.
¿Cómo puedes culparme? Podría matarme, pero ya tú sabes, es porque me siento sola. Little me siento sola.
Awesome.
Very nice. Very nice voice. How long have you been singing for?
Oh, I've been singing since I was a little peanut.
Wow.
Since I was a peanut.
That's great. That's
If
great.
If you've ever
Yeah.
tried to sing, singing is very difficult.
Yeah.
The first time I heard my voice, I was like, I'm never doing that ever again.
It's
very
to,
hard.
It's hard to sing, and my voice is not good. I wouldn't say terrible. I have sometimes I pull something off, but in general, it's not great. So props to you. Shout out to
Thanks.
Sasha.
Thank you.
Sasha Prendes in the house, and we really appreciate having you here. And you know, the singing was wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. My new song is called No Me Olvides, and it comes out next week, and it's more dancey. It's more fun, and you know, I
Nice.
try to keep it spicy. So,
Is it on Spotify?
yep, it's going to be on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere music lives. You will be able to find my stuff. So, yeah,
Love it.
it's a
Love
lot
it.
of fun.
Awesome. So follow Sasha and check out her new song coming up. And thank you for being on the show.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for
having me.
joining
This
us.
was
You
so
were
much
awesome.
fun. I'm so
Yes.
glad we got to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like this is just what everyone has been
Yeah.
talking about, but also like with no solutions.
You're right.
So I feel like we provided some solutions today.
Yes.
Right. I think
You
that's
know?
what we're here for. I think this is why Rob and I started the podcast, and you know, obviously wanted to continue to grow and flourish this more and more into the future. We love to have you back. Thank you
Yeah, I'd
to Jenna.
love
We
to
love
be
to
back.
have Jenna
Great
back
to have you
too.
guys. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having me, guys. Love you guys so much.
Yeah, shout out to you, Sasha. Sasha Prendes in the house with Jenna in the back. And again, guys, we may do a TikTok live and we might do a quick YouTube live, possibly. We're still debating that. So check us out. And last but not least, follow us on the podcast, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Guys, get us past 1,600. We just cracked 1,500. Get us past 1,600 subs.
Go.
Support your boys. We're here fighting the good fight. We want men to be men. We want men to come together with the ladies. So subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Hit that button. Smash it. Whatever it takes. It doesn't cost you a penny. Just a second of your life. And follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Rumble, the Podcast Guys _ the Podcast Guys 5 on X, the Podcast Guys on Spotify. And we are on Facebook. We are in the works to fixing that up a little bit, but we are on Facebook. And until next time, peace.